When we define ourselves by biological anatomy, specifically our cranial capacity and bone structure, humanity's starting line stretches back much further than most realize. The fossil record places anatomically modern humans on the Earth at least 315,000 years ago. These ancestors carried the exact same neurological hardware and intellectual potential we use today. Their brains were identical to ours, capable of the same complex reasoning, planning, and curiosity that drives our modern world. This timeline represents our biological history, yet the current archaeological consensus maintains that civilization, the building of cities and the recording of history, only began 6,000 years ago. This leaves a 300,000-year void in our story. It requires us to believe that for nearly 98% of our existence, humans with modern intellect remained stagnant hunter-gatherers, waiting hundreds of millennia to organize or innovate. This massive chronological gap suggests that our historical record is incomplete. It points to the possibility that humanity is a species with amnesia, losing the memory of a long, erased chapter of its own past. Proving the existence of a lost chapter requires finding physical anomalies that shatter the accepted 6,000-year timeline, starting with the way our ancestors mapped the world. This 1531 map by Orontius Phineus contains a geographical impossibility, Antarctica's coastline drawn with highly accurate relative longitudes. We didn't discover Antarctica until 1820, or solve longitude until the 18th century. This precision suggests it relied on older source documents from an advanced navigation era. We find a similar mathematical signature at the Great Pyramid of Giza. The pyramid's dimensions scale exactly 1 to 43,200, with the Earth's polar radius and equatorial circumference. This number, 43,200, is an astronomical constant derived from the precession of the equinoxes, the Earth's 26,000-year axial wobble, implying builders possessed advanced orbital knowledge millennia before the Greeks. These artifacts suggest a predecessor civilization once thrived with seafaring and astronomical skills that don't fit our recorded history, indicating high sophistication long before the cities of Sumer. If this advanced knowledge was inherited, we should find traces of it in the earliest megalithic sites, like Göbekli Tepe in modern-day Turkey. Built 11,600 years ago, this site features 20-ton stone pillars and precise astronomical alignments. Mainstream history attributes this to hunter-gatherers, even though they lacked the agriculture or settled workforce normally required for such engineering. The existence of such a site suggests an organized society was already at work.
This raises a clinical question. What force could have been powerful enough to erase their progress? Evidence points to a celestial event roughly 12,800 years ago. A massive comet entered our solar system, fragmenting into debris that intercepted Earth's orbit. The resulting airbursts hit with the force of nuclear explosions. This thermal energy triggered a rapid meltdown of the global ice caps and a massive sea level rise, followed by a 1,200-year deep freeze known as the Younger Dryas. This cataclysm reset the human story. The few survivors passed their trauma down through global myths and embedded their remaining knowledge into stone, hoping future generations might eventually rediscover what was lost. Mainstream archaeology typically categorizes these global catastrophe myths as the cultural echoes of local floods or exaggerated survival folklore. But from the Middle East to the Americas, these flood myths share a common warning. The cataclysm was a consequence of human behavior. The myths describe a society that lost its way, angering the forces of nature through its own hubris and toxicity. We see a direct parallel to that ancient hubris in our own era. We possess an immense capacity for technological achievement, but it is coupled with a modern capacity for mass species suicide. Our current society, fractured by tribalism, armed with world-ending weapons, and increasingly reliant on machines, matches the mythological patterns that preceded the last Great Reset. The history of an erased civilization serves as a warning for the present. Unless we evolve beyond our destructive arrogance, 20,000 years from now, we will be the lost chapter that future generations refuse to believe existed.